My name is Sophia Reynolds, and I'm 34 years old. If you are here right now, close every other tab, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and lock the door. Because for the next 35 minutes I am going to tell you the complete, unfiltered, never-before-told story of how my husband shattered every bone in my hand, how my 5-year-old son saved my life with one phone call, and how I went from bleeding on a cold kitchen floor in the Bronx to standing on a Manhattan stage, watching the two people who tried to destroy me get dragged away in handcuffs while the entire city filmed it. This is the story the news only showed in pieces. This is the story that turned me from a terrified, broke housewife into the co-CEO of a multi-billion-dollar empire. And this is the story that can save your life if you're living the same nightmare right now. So wherever you are in the world, drop your city in the comments right now so I know you're with me. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and do not skip a single second, because by the end of this video you will know exactly how strong you really are. Let's go back to that night 3 years ago. The rain was coming down so hard it sounded like the sky was trying to punish the earth. I was on the kitchen floor, curled into a ball, biting my lip until it split because the pain in my right hand was so bad I couldn't even scream. I remember the exact sound, like dry wood snapping, when Ryan grabbed my wrist and crushed every bone in my hand. I remember looking up and seeing the shoes I bought him for his last birthday, $1,200 Italian leather I paid for by selling my mother's wedding ring, stopped right in front of my face. He bent down, wrapped my hair around his fist like a rope, and yanked my head back so hard I felt my neck scream. The face I used to kiss every night, the face I used to wake up smiling at, was twisted into something I didn't recognize. Eyes red, veins popping, pure hatred. "How dare you say no to me, you worthless parasite?" His voice shook the walls. "I asked for $80,000 for the business, and you sit there telling me you don't have it. What kind of wife watches her husband drown, parasite?" That word hit harder than his fist ever could, me. The woman who quit her $140,000 a year marketing job because he said, "A real mother stays home with her child." The woman who sold the only apartment my late parents ever owned, handed him $341,000 of my inheritance, and still smiled when he promised, "This is for our future, babe." The woman who went into debt buying him clothes, watches, vacations, while I wore the same 3 sweaters for 3 years. And now I was the parasite because I finally said, "Ryan, there is nothing left." I could barely speak through the fire exploding in my hand. "Ryan, I gave you everything. I sold my parents' apartment. I have nothing. Liar." He jerked my hair so hard I felt strands rip from my scalp. "Your grandfather is worth billions. You expect me to believe he left you nothing. You've been hiding money from me this entire marriage, choosing that old man over your own husband." My hand was already swollen to twice its size, purple-black, bent at an angle that made bile rise in my throat. I couldn't move my fingers, I couldn't feel them. "Ryan, please, my hand is broken, I need a hospital," he laughed. A cold, dead laugh that froze my blood. Then he let go so fast my skull cracked against the tile. The room went white. "Let it hurt," he spat. "Maybe pain will finally teach you gratitude. Maybe then you'll stop acting like you're the victim while I work myself to death supporting your lazy ass." He walked away, grabbed his phone, and just like that the monster vanished. His voice turned warm, loving, excited, like he was talking to sunshine. "Hey, gorgeous. Yeah, just finishing up some stupid drama at home. Give our little man a big kiss from Daddy. I'm on my way with his favorite chocolate dinosaur eggs. Tell him I love him to the moon. I love you more, baby." Our little man, my heart actually stopped. We had one child, Caleb, 5 years old. Unless there was another little boy, another family, another life he'd been living while I scraped pennies and believed every single lie. Then I heard it, the smallest, most heartbreaking sound I've ever heard in my life. A tiny, choked sob from the hallway. Caleb was standing there in his Spider-Man pajamas, hands clamped over his mouth, whole body shaking so hard his knees knocked together. He saw everything. He watched his father break his mother. Ryan heard too. "Get back to bed, not another sound." Caleb froze. His huge blue eyes locked on mine, filled with terror, but also something else, something ancient and fierce. In that moment, something passed between us. I gave the tiniest shake of my head, "Don't come closer, stay safe," and with my good hand I pointed to my phone on the counter, then to him, then back to the phone. A silent scream, "Baby, please understand mommy." Ryan turned to the window to light a cigarette, still cursing about money and ungrateful wives. Caleb moved like a ghost, bare feet silent on the tile. He pretended to trip. Ouch! Knocked my phone off the counter so it landed softly on the rug, scooped it up in one motion, and slid underneath the coffee table like he was never there. I forgot how to breathe. Caleb tapped the glowing screen. I had set the passcode to his birthday 6 months earlier and taught him one thing. If mommy or daddy ever gets hurt and can't call for help, you unlock the phone and call Grandpa Thomas. Only Grandpa Thomas. I never thought we would need it. 0 to 5 to 1 to 8. The screen unlocked. His tiny, trembling finger scrolled to contacts, found the one name saved in all caps with a red heart. Grandpa Thomas emergency. He pressed call, put the phone to his ear. His lips shook. At first no sound came out. Then the whisper that saved my life. "Grandpa, daddy's killing mommy. He broke her hand. Please come quick, please." 3 seconds of silence that lasted 1,000 years. Then a voice, deep, calm, absolute authority. "Caleb, my brave little man, you did perfect. Tell Grandpa your exact address right now." I crawled on my knees through the pain, got close enough to the phone. "Grandpa, it's Sophia. 928 Dawson Street, apartment 6B, South Bronx. Please hurry." "Lock yourselves in the bathroom," he ordered, voice like steel wrapped in velvet. "Push everything you can against the door. Do not open it for anyone except me. I'm already on my way." Call ended. Caleb looked at me with eyes now shining with tears and brand new hope. I opened my good arm. He ran into it. "You just saved our lives, baby. You're the bravest boy in the whole world." Ryan was still at the window, texting his other woman, completely blind that his entire world had already ended. I pulled myself up using the counter, took Caleb's tiny hand, and we slipped into the bathroom. Locked it, dragged the heavy oak cabinet in front. Sat on the cold tile floor, my son curled in my lap, and waited while my broken hand throbbed with every heartbeat. 17 minutes later, the street outside exploded with sound. 4 matte black Range Rovers roared into the narrow alley like tanks. Tires screeched. Doors slammed in perfect unison. Heavy, purposeful footsteps stormed the stairs, 6, maybe 8 men moving as one. Then the knock, not Ryan's knock. This one carried the weight of an empire. "Sophia, it's Grandpa Thomas. Open the door, darling, you're safe now." I shoved the cabinet with my good arm, unlocked the door with fingers that wouldn't stop shaking, and the second it opened, I collapsed into arms that caught me like I was still 6 years old. He held me while I finally let myself shatter completely. "It's over, sweetheart. Nobody touches you or Caleb ever again. I swear on my life." Just then Ryan's motorcycle screamed into the alley. He took one look at the convoy blocking the entire street and went ghost white. He ran up the stairs shouting, "What the hell is going on? Who are you people?" Grandpa turned slowly, deliberately, fixing Ryan with a stare that could freeze the sun. "So you're the animal who put his hands on my granddaughter." Ryan tried every trick he had, bluster, charm, threats, ordering me to tell them it was an accident, babe, come on. I looked straight through him like he was already dead. One of the suited men stepped forward. "Ryan Reynolds, you are under arrest for felony assault, aggravated battery, child endangerment, and we're just getting started. Hands behind your back." They cuffed him while he screamed, begged, cried, threatened to sue everyone. And just like that, 6 years of terror ended in 4 minutes flat. Grandpa carried Caleb down the stairs like he weighed nothing. A female doctor waiting in the lead car gently splinted my hand and gave me an injection that finally dulled the fire to something I could survive. We left that prison apartment and every memory in it behind forever. The next morning, I woke up in a bedroom so big I thought I was in a hotel. Sunlight poured through floor-to-ceiling windows over silk sheets, and my little boy sleeping peacefully beside me for the first time in months. That afternoon, Grandpa sat me down in a library that smelled like old books and new beginnings. He told me the truth he had kept hidden my entire life to honor my parents' wishes. He wasn't just comfortable. He was Thomas Vanderbilt, founder of Vanderbilt Holdings, one of the largest privately held conglomerates in America, worth $11.4 billion. And I was the only heir he would ever have. He had stayed in the shadows so I could grow up normal. The moment I needed real power, he brought the entire empire to my doorstep. Within 72 hours, my hand was rebuilt by the best surgeon in New York. Ryan was in Rikers awaiting trial, and a team of private investigators tore his life apart like tissue paper. They found her. Lauren Brooks, 27, 8.5 months pregnant with their second child, living in a $3.2 million Soho penthouse my money paid for. They found the fake real estate company, Apex Future Developments, the $2.7 million stolen from 19 different investors, every offshore account, every text message, every lie. And that's when I began to rise. Not just new clothes, new hair, new jewelry, though I got all of those. The real transformation happened inside my bones. Grandpa put me straight into Vanderbilt Holdings as Executive Vice President of Global Development. I walked into boardrooms full of men who had known me as the quiet granddaughter and learned how to make them listen when I spoke. I learned finance. I learned negotiation. I learned power. I learned the woman he tried to break had fire he never bothered to look for. 6 weeks later, Ryan and Lauren threw the most extravagant investor appreciation gala the Waldorf Astoria had ever seen, 400 guests, champagne fountains, string quartet, all to save their drowning scam. I walked in wearing a custom Alexander McQueen gown that cost more than their entire penthouse furniture. Grandpa on my left arm, our attorney James Carver on my right, 4 bodyguards behind us. When Ryan saw me across the ballroom, his champagne flute slipped from his hand and shattered on the marble floor. I smiled the coldest smile of my life, walked straight to the stage, took the microphone, and gave the signal. The lights dimmed. The 40-foot screen that was supposed to show their fake renderings went black. Then the first image appeared, me the morning after, face bruised, hand purple and mangled, eyes hollow. Underneath, in white letters, "This is what love looked like in the Reynolds house." The ballroom gasped as one. Then security footage. Ryan grabbing my hair, the crack of bones, me collapsing, him walking away to take a loving phone call. Then photos of Ryan and Lauren on vacation, with their toddler son, in the apartment my dead parents' money bought. Then bank transfers, my money flowing straight into their accounts. I spoke into the silence. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the real Ryan Reynolds and Lauren Brooks, professional con artists who stole millions while beating the mother of Ryan's legal child. If you invested in Apex Future, contact the NYPD table by the exit. Charges are being filed tonight. Ryan tried to rush the stage. The bodyguard stopped him like he was a child. Lauren started screaming, mascara running, clutching her pregnant belly. The ballroom doors opened. 20 uniformed officers walked in. Ryan Reynolds and Lauren Brooks, you are under arrest for grand larceny, wire fraud, conspiracy, assault in the first degree. They were cuffed in front of 400 of New York's richest and most powerful people while every phone in the room filmed. That footage went viral before they even reached the sidewalk. 4 months later, the trial lasted 9 days. I sat in the front row every single day, dressed like the heiress I now was, and looked Ryan in the eye every time he dared to glance my way. My testimony took an entire afternoon. I told everything. I showed the photos. I played the security footage. I read the text messages where Lauren wrote, "Just squeeze her for another 50K, she's too stupid to notice." The jury deliberated for 87 minutes. Ryan, 26 years, no parole for 18. Lauren, 15 years to begin immediately after giving birth in a prison hospital. Every asset seized. Every victim repaid. Their names erased from polite society forever. When the judge banged the gavel, Grandpa squeezed my good hand. I didn't smile, I just felt free. 3 years have passed since that night. Caleb is 8 now. He laughs again. He plays soccer. He sleeps without nightmares. When kids at school ask about the scar on my hand, he says, "That's where Mommy became a superhero, and I was her sidekick." I am now co-CEO of Vanderbilt Holdings. I have closed deals worth $1.8 billion with nothing but my own mind and my own signature. I founded Phoenix Rising Network, 14 shelters across the country that have rescued over 1,400 women and children from abuse. Every brick paid for with the exact money Ryan and Lauren stole from me and others. And yes, there is someone new. His name is Daniel. He's an architect who volunteers at Phoenix Rising. He knows every detail of my story. He kisses the scar on my hand and calls it my crown. I'm moving slowly. I'm protecting my heart and my son. But for the first time in a decade, I believe love doesn't have to hurt. So if you are watching this right now and you are scared, if you are hiding bruises, if you are telling yourself, he'll change, or I deserve this, please hear me. You are not weak. You are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not the problem. That first step out of the darkness is the hardest thing you will ever do. But on the other side is a life so bright, so big, so beautiful that the woman you are right now cannot even imagine it. Make the call, send the text, walk out the door. Someone is always coming, I know, because my 5-year-old son made one phone call and an empire answered. My name is Sophia Reynolds. I was broken once. Now I am unbreakable. And every single piece he shattered, I turned into a weapon, then into wings. You can too. I promise you. From the bottom of my healed heart, I promise.